Timber planks creak, ropes groan as 3 heavy-laden ships bump against the wooden docks. The water is broken by the waves of the wind as it carries the late afternoon into evening. It has been a long year in the making, and the sailors are tired but eager for their voyage ahead. The work is nearly done, and they are weary of waiting. Then a whistle blows, and all is in motion. Sails are raised, planks are pulled in, commands are shouted as the moors are untied. Free the galleon, the galleon's now free, with lumber out of the port, the wind at their back. Their sea voyage is underway. These 3 ships will come in on Christmas Day, but now we must hold fast, haul the sails, swab the decks, and cut the jib. There is much work to be done, lads, and there is no time to play. Welcome to No Time to Play podcast, the pre-2015 Christmas edition. 3 ships of play are coming in, and I am joined by Air Captain Matt, Lord of the Underworld Shane, the Gentleman of Steam Tony, and the mysterious Pirate Len, whose very name strikes terror into everyone.
Yarr.
I am Scott, the simple bookkeeper. Good day to you all.
Good evening.
Again, another good, and we even had the sound effects provided by your stuff there.
All right.
I liked it.
All right. Okay, so I had 3 ships. So the first ship is a very loud ship. It has various pixel icons going across its sails, and it has various orchestra-like music that comes out of it to discuss the various video games that we have been playing this year, or at least since the last podcast.
What's the internet like at high sea?
Well, it depends.
Very choppy.
Ah, what a punny guy.
I don't know. I find it streams very well.
What have I started?
If only I had another one. Which I might. Just randomly through the night.
The sad thing is now everyone's like, I could talk about the video games I've been playing, but instead I'm going to focus on puns about the internet.
It's like, we can't talk about the video games because we need to talk about pirate puns.
Pirate puns. The best kind of puns, really. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start, Matt?
It doesn't matter. Well,
Actually, I'm going to go last because I'm going to segue into the next part.
What? Okay. I have been playing... Wait, since the last time or this year?
Since the last time.
Well, the last time I played some Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I haven't played as much of, and then I bought Fallout 4 because I can't stop buying video games.
I can't stop.
Sickness. It's a deep sickness. I play a little bit of Fallout 4, but mostly I've been playing Final Fantasy 7, which just came out for the PS4, and I'm going through there, getting my trophies, which is great. It's pretty much just exactly the same version as the original, only it has trophies now, and that's good enough for me.
Cool.
That's it. I haven't been playing too much.
All right, Shane?
I've still been playing Final Fantasy 13 on PC, which I love playing with the Xbox One controller. And but it's a long haul because I don't get a whole lot of time to play, so I have to go in short bursts whenever I can. But it means that it takes a while. But then, sorry?
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying. Is it running okay on your PC?
Oh, it runs awesome. There's the odd time when there's a little bit of you can tell there's a little bit of chugging, but not very much. For the most part, it's...
Yeah, because I've had a heck of a time trying to get it. It runs pretty much as choppy, if not more choppy, than the PS3 version. So I'm like, wow, I might as well play the PS3 version then.
Huh. Well, as I said,
I don't know.
I upgraded to Windows 10, and all of a sudden it played fine. Before Windows 10, it was quite choppy.
Yeah, I upgraded to Windows 10 as well, and it's a lot better than it was, but it's still not super great. So I don't know. I'll just stick to good old console gaming.
For me, it seems just fine, so I'm quite happy. But I want to get through it, and then obviously play 13-2 because Lightning Returns came out for PC as well. So
Yeah, that just came out this past week, I think, or a
It's
week
been on
I
before.
Steam
think it
for a
was.
while.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like the 12th, maybe.
Oh, that was a week ago, or 9 days ago.
Maybe it was the 8th. I don't know.
We've made it so we know if people can do math, they know what day this podcast was recorded on.
Anyways, it's there. And then the other game that I've been playing on my Vita, which interrupted other games, but it's because it came out for $3, was
Oh
Bastion.
my god. Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
Nice.
I thought you were gonna say Taco Master for a second there.
No,
Never say
my
Taco
God.
Master.
I think that is out now, but I did not
What?
pick that up.
Is it a restaurant managing business?
Yeah, you make tacos, man, and you give them to people and stuff, and it's like apparently the best game on the Vita.
I gotta say, the Port of Bastion is really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good.
So I'm.
And you're getting trophies.
I
I know
think
no one
so.
cares about trophies but me, but I'll just keep saying you get trophies.
Trophy.
That's all you've been playing, Jane, or
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I haven't. It's getting close to Christmas, so I've been busy with Christmas prep and all that kind of fun stuff. So
that's all right. Tony,
What have I been doing? I've been playing some Wolfenstein. I have to confess, I'm not really good at it. First-person shooters aren't my thing, and throw some giant mechanical robot dogs in there, and I suck even more. But it was on sale on Steam, so I picked it up, and I'm going to try and power through it, but not very well. Kind of have the same problem that Shane is too. Christmas is coming, and should be doing preparations. So
it's similar to Winter is Coming.
yeah. But instead of actually doing Christmas stuff, I decided to break into Minecraft again and start a new world.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's been consuming a bit of my time for the last week or so. Yeah.
Yeah, because Minecraft came out with the
The
like they always
realm.
had the Minecraft Realms thing, but now they have a free trial, so we tested out the
Yeah.
waters for it, and actually it's pretty
It's running
cool.
very smoothly.
Very well, much smoother than my old computer that exploded because it couldn't handle being a server.
Oh, well, I can't remember what was that program called? Hamachi?
Hamachi, yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I've been playing a bit of Wolf Among Us. Not nearly as much as I want to, but yeah.
I still need to finish Walking Dead season 2, so then I can play Wolf Among Us.
Nice.
But as I said, it got interrupted by the release of Bastion for $3. So
Yeah. Very cool. What's Len been up to?
Good segue.
Well, let me tell you. I don't play video games anymore.
When did you become a comedian?
Well, I've always been one. But I've been playing. Rise for the Xbox One.
nice. And how do you like it?
I'm kind of in the just hurry up and get it over boat. I'm not really enjoying it. The story's not catching my interest. It's just sure it's a pretty game, but yeah, it's just it's not holding my attention very well. So I'm just gonna power through it and then move on to the next game, which I'm
Is
not
it-
sure what
Is
it's
this
gonna be,
is
but-
historical inaccuracies that is bothering you?
Yeah, it's for the same reason I can't watch 300. I can't really play Rise.
They don't wear that kind of armor.
What?
Oh,
I don't think that guy ever existed with the
passerby,
humpback. Like that guy's not real.
As a passerby, though, of seeing Lenny play it, it looks good. Like it looks like pretty.
But you can clearly
I
tell
only
like
see
it
it
used
for
to
5
be
minutes.
Connect game, right? Because it was originally going to be a Xbox 360 Connect game, but you can clearly see the remnants of that. Not a huge fan of some of the stuff they make you do.
all joking aside, it is kind of funny though to have a a game about Romans where the Romans were successful because they always fought in groups, and then that game is a one Roman working by himself. I think that's kind of
Well, they actually it's funny you say that because there's sections of the game there. I mean, um, they're not really that memorable, but there's sections where they have you march forward as a group, and then raise your shields as they're firing spears and arrows at you,
that's cool.
and then bring your shield down and march forward, and then bring your shield up, and so on and so forth. But um, like I say, those sections aren't terribly hard to play, and they're all relatively the same.
Aww.
But I mean, it's not a bad game. It's just kind of forgetful, or not forgetful, forgettable. Sorry.
Right.
So
And it's hard when you have like so many other games that you want to play too, right? Like you're just like,
yeah,
if you're playing a game that's kind of mediocre, you're just like, oh man, I could be playing, X, Y, Z or whatever, right?
exactly. So, but yeah, I got to play some smaller games to get my count up. But
Yeah, that's a problem for me too.
I think this year we've all had less than we did last year.
Not to alarm you guys, but I have a strategy for the end of the year.
yeah, I think I know what it is.
I've already,
I think you've been playing that strategy all year.
Yeah.
I have been playing this right, but I'm now at 3, which means I'm tied with Lenny. I think.
We should also explain to the listeners, if or anyone listens to this podcast, what we're talking about.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, you want me to do it? All right. Well, it's pretty much every year we all get together and we talk about how many games. Like we have a list of how many games that we've beat that year, and I think I made it a competition last year because I was winning. So we kind of see how many games that we can beat, and then whoever beats the most games just gets to say, "Hey, I won this year," and that's about it. And then we go on to the next year. So I'm at 12. I don't know what you guys are at.
I'm at 3.
I'm at 8.
Yeah.
I believe I'm also a 3.
That's
And
right.
I think
I've
I'm
got-
at 4.
And I have 2 in the hopper that I'm almost done. not to get you in trouble there or worry there, Lenny, but
I
I'll just
actually
fire up
don't
some
think.
Call of
I think
Duty.
12 will be like. I don't think I have another game that I'm gonna beat before the new year.
I'm trying to think of.
So if you can win 5 games, Tony, you can take reign over champion.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but there might be some,
So I have
some
to win-
presents for
I have
Christmas
to
that I
win
might have to
9
beat right
games.
away.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Apparently, the Steam Winter Sale starts tomorrow.
Oh my god.
This excites me. Well, that's good because there's nothing on sale right now that it really is catching my attention.
Well, tomorrow everything
Everything
will
will
be
catch
on
my
sale.
attention.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't planning to play in this game, but it's only for like 75 cents.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I'll buy
I'd be a
it.
fool not to.
Yeah,
Scott,
it'd be crazy for me not to buy this game. I'm saving money. Look at all this money I'm saving. I better buy some more.
Yeah.
I've spent $300 on the Steam sale.
But now I've got 700 games.
Yeah.
And I'll be 9
I
next
must
year.
quit my job and buy games full time.
Oh, let's make that our lives.
Or
Let's
maybe
make that
this
happen.
podcast will be a smashing success, and then we can just do this for a
Yeah.
living. And then we'll change the name from No Time to Play Today to
Nothing but
Always
time.
Time to Play Today.
Welcome to the nothing
Scott,
but
you-
time to play today.
well, I did recently finish a game. I finished 80 Days, the iPad. I think it's also available for PC, where you manage. You're the
That wasn't me.
We're going back in time, guys.
Okay then. As a sidebar, Matt, check your email.
oh yeah, all right, that was subtle.
Where was I? 80 Days. So it's a game where you play the manservant of Phileas Fogg, who travels around the world in 80 days, and you have to manage luggage and book the trips. But then it's really an interactive novel where you can try, like the story unfolds and you get to read. It's mostly reading. You read passages of encounters and interesting people, and you find routes and you travel. And then there's mutinies and other interesting things on the way. I quite enjoyed the game. I will probably play it again next year after
So you could tally
so
it
I can
again.
tally it again. I actually recommend it though. It was probably I would say it's probably the most interesting interactive novel I've ever played. So
That's pretty sweet. I always like those, like, little games that you play, like, right before bed and stuff like that. It's like almost like the new reading a book kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because who here reads? Am I right?
I read.
I read.
I only. Yeah.
The two board game people read.
Yeah.
I read the
Instruction
guide on my
manuals?
cable box.
Like if I'm playing an older game, I read the
But,
text from the speaking.
The other two games I have in the hopper is I have Thomas is Alone,
Nice. Very good.
and
Very good game.
I have Lost Within.
Never heard of it.
It's like a Amnesia Dark Descent. Oh, that's another game I could try to finish. And,
Oh.
well, there you go.
You're not gonna finish that one. Stop your pipe dreaming.
All right. Well,
Is that a visual novel too? Amnesia?
Amnesia is a horror game.
Okay.
It's a horror game done the proper way, where you don't try to just have monsters appear all the time. You spend most of the game, and they recommend playing it with headphones. Most of it is the game messing with you, just trying to scare the bejesus out of you with nothing. Like you hear a sound or you creak or you're confused, and the main character that you're moving around, he's like breathing heavily, freaked out all the time and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it probably like the first 2 hours of that game, and then I had like a panic attack probably like in the game. Like everything started to convulse, turn red. The controls became non-responsive. I think it was a very interesting
Hey,
game.
Lenny, I think you're breathing into
It is
the mic.
not
Sorry,
me,
sorry.
sir.
I'm sorry to derail.
I like how everyone just held their breath right then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not me.
I wonder if it was me.
All right, everyone breathe out and see if it's you.
I appreciate how everyone thinks it's me, though.
Well, I could hear the breathing, and everyone was talking about you, so that's why I thought.
We'll have to edit this out in post. But and the
Nope.
thing with Amnesia is interesting is, again, I feel it. There are so many clones of it now. Like other people are doing the similar thing. This Lost Within is the same sort of thing. Like, a couple jump scares here and there, eerie music, and confusion and stuff like that. Outlast is in sort of the same genre as well. Soma.
Soma looks good, man. I really want to play that. I feel like we should play that like in the same room, so I don't get too scared and quit.
I think that'd be fun. We should do that.
Yeah. So that's what I've been working on to get into the tally. But do we have anything else we want to discuss about the video game ship?
Really, I just want to wonder if anyone has any like game on a wish list.
Oh, that's
for Christmas.
That's another ship.
That's another ship. All right. Well, screw this ship. Let's jump it
Let's
off.
jump
Off
ship.
of it.
Okay. So this Shane or Tony, do you have anything you would like to add to the video game ship before we depart the beeps and boops of its sailors?
I like video games.
Okay.
That is all.
A very good statement, sir. Very good.
Thought so. What's
Are you
next?
Is that a drop the mic statement?
Yep, that's my draw the mic statement.
All right.
Tony's gone.
Yeah,
for the
I'm just gonna
rest
stay
of
on the ship. You guys have fun on the board game ship.
So the board game ship with its massive sails, with instruction manual made out of instruction manuals, and various people bickering on the ship of how a boat was actually done and whether we're doing it in the right order and who is ahead and who is behind. We are at the board game ship.
Now, is this board game ship? Does it also have card games as well?
Yes.
That is
Oh,
not
sorry.
me.
Sorry.
Did someone do that on
Yeah,
purpose?
it was me.
Oh, okay. I'm like, that's like really like.
That's ship number one. Ship number one is determined not. No, I'm changing course to stay on this podcast.
Ship 1 and 2 are fighting each other now.
It does include card games as well. But I think the big event we can talk about is the board game extravaganza that we just had.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we went over to a friend of ours' house and played. How many games did we end up playing?
Let's see. So, okay, someone count for me. I played Machikoro,
One,
Get Bit,
two,
Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn, Samurai
three,
Spirit, Epic
4,
Spell War, at
5,
Skull Mountain, whatever it's called. Space Cadets,
6,
Dead of Winter.
7.
I'm missing one. What else did we play? Betrayal on the House of the Hill.
Betrayal.
Epic Spell Wars. Did you say that one?
Yeah, I said that
Am
one.
I not paying
Yep.
attention? All right.
You're not paying attention.
Sounds like
Get back.
me.
Get to the ship.
No, it was good. I think I liked all the games.
Yeah, the surprises for me was Samurai Spirit
Samurai
was a
game.
surprise, and the Epic Spell Wars. So, Samurai Spirit is basically take 21, the game 21, and wrap it into 7 samurais defending a village, and that's what Samurai Spirit is. So it's cooperative. Each of you are sort of each trying to get to 21 without going over. The cards that you're playing are bandits that you're trying to get rid of, and when you hit 20,
Only you're not getting to 21. You're getting
yeah,
to,
there's
like,
different values. It's
7
just
or
sort of
9 or
general how the
whatever.
game operates. And then there's special powers and like different things to sort of make the flow of the game. Certain samurais can take out more bandits quickly. Other ones can lend their support in different ways. And it was just a fun, pretty fast game because the rules were pretty easy to understand, and so you spent more of the game trying to figure like how to win rather than how to play. If that makes any sense. And then the Epic Spell Wars. Oh, sorry. Do you have anything to say to that, Matt? Or the...
No, it's like hard as balls though. Jeez. Like we only got to like there's like 3 phases, right? And we only got to the second phase and everything falls apart in the second phase, it seems like. So plus apparently we're playing it wrong.
Not wrong, just with a simplified rule set.
Also known as wrong.
Yeah, that was a game I wish I could have been there to play. That's a game that I've seen on Rodney Smith's Watch It Played, and it looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was, as I said, I was pretty surprised. But the game that probably surprised me the most, that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I was going to, was Epic Spell Wars.
That's another one that I really want to play.
It's so good. Like it's good and so accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
That comes.
My only
because you explain it in 5 minutes and then it's like,
Yep.
and then everyone knows just as well as the other person how to play.
My
it.
2 caveats is that, one, it makes more sense to play with a large group than a small group.
Yep.
Because when you play with a large group, the spells just cascade. Like, so basically, the principle of it is that you get cards and you have to put together a spell, and a spell has 3 components. It has the source, the quality, and then the delivery. And each of them kind of cascade off each other to cause mostly damage to other people, or heal yourself, or do different tricks. So what it is you have to try to figure out what spells go well together, but also you have to be wary of how long it takes you to cast them. Each of them have a number on it. And if the number is, if you're going first, that's great, but your spell might not be as powerful as someone who's waited. But the guy who waited might not live long enough to cast his spell because there's so much magic flying around. And the theme is wrapped around in high school death metal wizardry drawings.
Yeah, like a I don't know, like a 70s style artwork.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say brutal legend if you had to think of a video game equivalent.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you guys were playing the first release of it, correct?
Yes, there is a new release that something to do with like blood. You can get bloodied, and then those the higher that is, you can use those for different abilities and stuff like that.
Right.
But the more bloodied you are, obviously, the closer to death you are, right? Just adds like a second element to the game. I think that's the second release of it,
Cool.
But
or expansion. I'm not sure.
yeah. But no, I was quite impressed with it. I thought it flowed really well. And my other caveat is that it's very much a game of pause, then play, because there's this part at the beginning where you get your 8 cards and you read through them all, and everyone spends their time reading through each of the cards, matching up the glyphs, figuring out the powers and stuff like that. So it does have a bit of analysis paralysis at the beginning, but to be honest, in a party environment, that's okay, because basically you can read through it. If you decide your spell real quick, you put it down, and then you go get yourself a drink or something like that, and then you come back, and then eventually the one person who's taken forever finally puts their spell down, and then you can get going.
So in other words, never play this game with me.
Well, only if there's food to be had, that'd be okay then. Although I found
Because I'll be the last guy to play, because
Well-
I'll take 10 years to read through everything and try to figure all the
well, the funny thing is that
what I
could
want
be-
to do.
It can happen, but it wasn't consistent because sometimes you would get a hand of cards, and you're like, oh, this is easy. These 3 cards are the best ones to go together. It's obvious. The rest of them aren't very good. And then other turns, you'd be sitting there going, oh, I could do this or this. So it kind of moved around who was deciding when to cast their spells. Like,
Right, okay.
I think it would depend on the turn. Some turns you'd be like, I'm done. I know what I'm doing. So
Or you can have a turn where it's like all these cards are terrible,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be able to do anything. Then you cry. Then everyone beats you up.
yeah, Matt cried a lot in Epic Spell Wars.
Yeah.
It's 'cause he's
What did you think of it, Lenny?
I really enjoyed it. It's a game that, like you say, there's not too much, not too many rules to learn. It's not it's not overladen with any kind of rules that you would have to think too much about. It's very simple, which is right up my alley. And like you say, everyone can enjoy it. And there's a few spells out there, like I think it's the Boulderific. That just kind of compounds. The more people you have, the more devastating it is as you go along. And everyone has a good time and has a laugh.
Nice.
Also, speaking about having a laugh, Space Cadet was also
Yeah,
good
Space Cadet
times.
was funny.
It was also pretty stressful. if you were the tactical officer or the pilot. I was very stressed out as the pilot.
Yeah,
So pretty much what Space Cadet is, just to kind of explain myself, is that you're pretty much playing the bridge of a ship, like the Starship Enterprise or whatever, because like you have the captain who's relaying orders to everyone. You have the sensor officer who figures out what's going on. You got the tactical officer that shoots and loads the torpedoes. You got the pilot who steers the ship. You got shields. What was it? It was shields.
Shields and engineering were the other 2 jobs.
Yeah, which is a thankless job, by the way. Thankless.
So is being the tactical officer. That's all I gotta say.
I think all of them are thankless, to be honest. But it's pretty much like there's a game Tony and I wanted to play, like video game
Artemis.
called Artemis, which it's pretty much the board game version of that game. And it was a lot of fun. It was like super stressful because everything's like timed and everything. And there's some really neat things, like when your ship gets damaged, you have different things that go wrong. And then like everyone has their own little mini games to play to try to get as much as they can out of each section.
So,
and then you're trying to,
for example,
do
I was the
missions.
tactical officer, and so engineering very politely would bring me energy and tell me how many torpedoes I could make. So then I would flip over 2 cards that had a Tetris pattern on it. I had a bunch of cutouts of different size shapes, and I had to very quickly get them to fit onto these torpedoes. And once I filled one in completely, I had 1 complete torpedo. Once that was done, to actually fire a torpedo, I have this shuffleboard, and I have a little disc, and I have to flick the disc a certain distance to hit another ship, depending on how close or how far away we are. It was terrible.
it was yeah. Scott clearly had the worst job out of everyone because there's no way, like you can't, like we played a fairly easy mission. We killed, it was like 3 ships we had to destroy. 2 of them were like easy ships, so 1 was like a normal one. But I had troubles because I had to, like for the helm, I would get energy and then I could use that either for maneuvers or changing my speed. And then if with maneuvers, you would get maneuver cards, and then you open it, you flip them over, and you would get like, it'll show you like the squares that you can go to, like in a straight line, or like, turning to the left, turning to the right. And the best part of the game was, like for helm anyways, was where I had to kind of go around an enemy to his left or his right side, to his right side and get around behind him. I completely froze during because you only have 30 seconds to do it, like to do what moves that you're gonna do. And I completely froze because I did not have any of the cards that I needed to do that. So what happens when you completely freeze and you don't put any cards down, you take the first 3 or 4 or however many cards depending on your speed is, and you just lay them as they were, and then you've lost control of the ship, and then it goes in the direction that those random cards flip up over as. And so I'm like, okay, so I flipped over those random cards, and they were exactly what we needed. And so it's like the ship ended right behind the enemy ship, and it's like, sweet, this is exactly where we need to be. And then that is probably how we won the game, because
Random chance.
like it was just random chance. We were right behind them, like we had torpedoes ready to go, and then we just fired, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the games that I expected to have fun with was Ashes, and I got 2 matches of Ashes, the Rise of the Phoenixborn in, again, John, and I think I've converted another person to this game. And we were split 1-1, so I lost the first game because I didn't figure. I've been trying each of the different Phoenixborns, so I was trying one that I was not familiar with, and I didn't figure out how to play the strategy of the deck until about halfway through the game, and by then it was too late. So he played Cole, which is the guy you like, Matt, and then I played Jessa.
Yeah, the whittler is what I call him, because he whittles your hit points away one at a time.
That's true.
He's a goddamn jerk.
Well, actually, the 2 I played were much. Jessa was the one, and she basically creates blood puppets which go into your opponent's battlefield. So they clog up the other person's battlefield, and if they kill them, then they have to take damage to themselves as well. So, which was annoying. And then I played, I think her name's Sasha or Sabrina, and she's a discard strategy where basically you're just making the opponent keep repeatedly discarding cards. And then that was how I won, because in Phoenixborn, if you can't draw, your Phoenixborn takes a damage. So John figured out about 3/4 of the way, about halfway through the game, what I was doing, and by then he's like, I've been too aggressive with my card draw, and then he tried to conserve it, but when you do that, then all of a sudden I'm getting stuff out and he's not, and then he ended up having to draw 5 cards, didn't have any cards in hand, so he was dead. So it was quite good. I quite like that game. I think you'll like it, Shane. Someday you'll play it.
Yeah, I really want to play that one too.
So. And then there's Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter was probably my... I would say it's my favorite out of all of them. Because, like, even... Also, that app, that iPad app, was really handy for that thing, too. It really added to it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I haven't decided on like, I enjoyed the game. I think I would have enjoyed... I think I need to play it a bit more to understand the game, because it really felt that we were at the whim of the cards, because that's what basically did us in the end, right? Like, basically we drew one story that dropped our morale to 2, and then we had another card that just flooded our colony with... Oh, sorry, Dead of Winter is a zombie survival game where you move people around this frozen town to avoid zombies, to get resources, where you have to... Every turn you flip over a crisis card where you have to contribute so much food or medicine to solve the crisis, or something bad happens to the colony.
Yeah, and every character you play has different advantages. Like, some people are immune to exposure doing certain actions, and then other ones just get bonuses when they're in certain places and stuff like that.
And and so then you have I lost my train of thought. You have to keep track of morale. You have to feed the colony and keep it, keep zombies out and all that sort of jazz.
You gotta keep it clean too.
Keep it clean.
Like I had the janitor, and I was awesome at that.
Very, very good, man. But
I was the doctor and the janitor. I was like I was totally the support class in that.
But the one challenge of the game is that there's obviously a betrayer, and so they will be working against the colony at one point. We had a betrayer in our game, but it didn't matter because as I mentioned, these story cards that come up every turn create random events, which basically create problems for the colony. And so as a result, the one reduced our morale very low, and then the next card just filled our colony full of extra people, and then we couldn't feed them all, and there were too many zombies, and we died. It was very sad.
I don't think we didn't die. We just lost morale. Like morale is what killed us in the
Yeah.
end. So we all just went on a crazy rampage.
Well, a big thing about that game too is like zombie management. Like they like in a very short time you can become overrun, and that's a big thing that hurt us too.
Yeah, having all those because the more settlers you have, the more zombies that will come towards your settlement. So, with the amount of people that we ended up having because of that random card event, so many zombies came through, and then it was bad news.
And I must say the betrayer did a really good job keeping it a secret.
Yeah, considering we thought you were the betrayer for most of the game.
Well, that's the thing too, though. Like to be a good betrayer, like you just wait, right? Because that was the one thing I'd like to play more to see, because it felt like if I was the betrayer, I just have to wait. Like I just have to get my stuff together, and I just have to wait because the colony seems to fall apart on its own. But I think I maybe have to play more games to. You can't judge that game on one play. You know what I mean? So.
No, yeah, you definitely have to play because, there's obviously a lot of strategy to it, but there is the luck of the draw too. Because we were doing great up until two of those event cards, and those two event cards in a row screwed us over.
Yeah.
So
Who was the betrayer in your game?
John
was the betrayer.
He's good at doing stuff like that.
Yeah, because the whole time he's like, well, come on, guys, let's do this. No, here's my stuff. I'll contribute. Here's my stuff here. Now, okay, guys, let's do this. Now, that's what they want us to do. Let's do this. And
Yeah,
so he's like,
he
he
was
seemed
really-
like the gung ho, let's do this, get things done guy, and it turns out he was a betrayer, right? So
So what's
And apparently
what's,
he was only like one thing away.
what's the advantage to being the betrayer? Like,
Oh, sorry. At the beginning of the game, you get given an objective card.
Mm-hmm.
So each person has a secret objective. So some people have objectives where the colony can't die, and then you must have 3 books, or you must have.
Well, unless you are a betrayer, the colony can't die.
Yeah. But one of the mechanics which we didn't use was that you can vote people off the
Out of the colony.
out of the colony, and then they get a new objective and they have to try to fulfill that one. So
Yeah, so if we kind of figured out that John was a betrayer, then we could have voted him off the colony, and then he would get a new card, and he could still be a betrayer, but it would be a different objective for him.
Gotcha.
And the objective is worth like victory points at the end or something, right? If you
yeah, to
fulfill
determine,
your objective.
yeah, basically determine who the winner is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a win-loss, right? So you even if the colony survives, if you don't have the items or whatever you need as your secondary objective, you still technically lose.
Right.
So I can't see too many people other than the betrayers winning that game, though.
I don't know. It depends. Like if we didn't have those 2 cards, I could see us eventually.
like I said though, I'm not sure if the cards definitely put a quick end to us, but those zombies will overrun you quickly, very quickly.
That's true.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like we're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad to oh my god, we're overrun.
All right, Matt, check your email.
All right. But also what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. They with it you can make it so there's no betrayer. So there's what we choose 10 cards and only a certain amount of them are.
You get 2 per every player in the game, and then you add 1 betrayer card.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so there you could have a game where there's no betrayer, and honestly, I thought by like 3/4 through that game, I'm like, you know what? I don't think we have a betrayer in this one. And then we did.
Uh,
And then I felt even more betrayed.
Double betrayed. Uh,
It was like when Obi-Wan was betrayed by Anakin Skywalker.
Are we going there?
Because his metachlorian counts
Metachlorian
were off the charts.
too high.
That's what it
you
means.
realize
if
you
have
realize
high
that when
metachlorian.
civilization collapses, that there will be those 3 prequel movies that will survive.
That's unfortunate. And they'll be like, wow, these people really had some bad taste. And I'll be like, no, there was other ones.
They really like their tragedies. How they like a sad ending at the end of their trilogies. The only other thing I had to add was that I played the expansion for Takenoko. Someone
yeah?
gave me the expansion. I don't know. Takenoko is a
bamboo
collecting game. It's a Euro game where you have a series of objective cards where you either are building a garden to look a certain way, moving a gardener around so you can build these little miniature bamboo stalks, or you're moving this cute, adorable little panda figurine around to eat the bamboo. So the expansion, it's a very good game. It's a very easy. It's a laid back strategy game. It's kind of nice. What the expansion does, it gives more options. It brought in some new tiles, which gives you some different ways to get objectives. But the big thing they brought in was a Mrs. Panda. So there's now a little girl panda. And if you can get the girl panda and the boy panda, because you move them around the garden, if they end up on the same tile, if you pay a bamboo, they have a baby. And the baby panda gives you bonuses and gives you points. It's very adorable. I was quite happy. It's done a lot to give the game a bit more depth.
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Takenoko. Like the amount of times that we played it, I enjoy it each time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Even when I get ganged up on by everyone.
That's only because I convinced my 6-year-old to betray her uncle.
Nice.
And she did. I felt so betrayed.
I sense a theme.
I sense a theme. And then
Yeah.
I think, Shane, you had some Star Wars you played?
Yeah, well, since I've been off with Keegan, we've been playing lots of Star Wars Empire versus Rebellion, which is a standalone card game. And it sounds, in a way, slightly similar in one aspect to Samurai Spirit, where basically, except it's, one-on-one. So one person plays the Empire, one person plays the Rebels, and there's an objective each game that gives you the numeric value that you're attempting to get close to but under, and the number of cards that you're allowed to play out during that round. So, they generally range from like a low of 5 to a high of 17 maybe, and with either 2, 3, or up to 6 cards that you can play out each turn. And the decks are pretty much the same on each side. So you have there are 4 basic cards. There's one called Military, which lets you discard one of your opponent's cards. There's one called the Force, which lets you exhaust them, which means they're unavailable for use. There's one called Diplomacy, which lets you discard one of your own cards. So if you draw, if it's, say, a 3-card limit and you have 2 cards out and you draw a third one, and then you realize that you're now over the target value, you can, if one of those cards is a Diplomacy card, you can use it to discard one of your other cards to bring you back under the target value. And then the 4th basic card is called Recon, which lets you look at the top 2 cards of either person's deck and discard one of them. So sometimes you'll want to, try to look at your opponent's deck to discard a good card that they might have that they could use against you, or you might want to use it on your deck to set up a good card to get you, right to the value that you want. But then you have a number of character cards, and the character cards have pretty powerful effects that are different for each user or each side. So the light side has Han, Luke, Leia, Chewie, R2-D2, Yoda, and Obi-Wan and Lando. and then the dark side has the
Really,
Emperor.
Lando over C-3PO.
No. C-3PO and R2 are one card,
Oh, okay.
and then
'Cause they're a team.
yeah, they're a team. But their power is not the greatest.
Well, they are the droids, right?
Yeah.
Why are you being racist?
But anyway,
It's
so
this kind of attitude that keeps
the
them
character cards
enslaved.
have different effects, but the character cards have a good value if they're not used, but then if you use them, their value goes down a lot. Um, so it's pretty interesting. And then what throws also a wrench into play is you have what are called influence tokens, and those will let you basically unboot your card or make it available again instead of having it be used up.
Oh,
Um,
unexhaust.
unexhaust. So you have a limited number of those.
Doomtown. I mean Doomtown forever, but
Yeah, yeah. So
you
you
could
can
say
unexhaust a card, so you can use it a second time, or depending on how many influence tokens, you can use the same card, multiple times in a round. And then once each player passes, either they, have played out all the cards and they're all used and they have no influence tokens, or they just don't want to do any further moves. You each have a strategy card that you reveal that may change things again. So one of the strategy cards is, whatever your value is of cards on the table, add 2 to it when determining what your final value is to see who's closest but still under the total. So it's kind of fun. It's fairly straightforward. And it's pretty good because I've seen Keegan when we first started playing, he just wanted to play the characters, but now he's finally starting to get the strategy, and he's starting to do a lot better. So it's really neat to see him learn the
so.
actual strategy of the game.
So 2 questions. One, are you Rebel all the time, or are you Alliance or Empire?
Well, I let Keegan choose, and most of the time he wants to play as Empire, but then today he said maybe I should play as Rebels because I've been playing as Empire a lot lately. So.
Okay.
But it's
And then
because one of the Empire characters is Boba Fett, and he loves Boba Fett, so he wanted to be able to play as Boba Fett most of the time.
Why?
He
Why?
just thinks Boba Fett is cool.
I mean, that as a service announcement, we have to really question whether Boba Fett is cool because as far as he did one good thing, which is he was able to find Han Solo. But that was it.
Yeah, but he looks cool while doing it, and in the original version, he had a really cool voice. So
There you go.
and
What?
he's one of the only people who talks back to Vader and lives.
That's true.
That is
So
true.
he
Yeah,
actually
you're
did 2 cool things.
right. He talked to someone and he found a guy.
Yep.
There you go. And my other question is are you crushing him or is he like slowly catching up to you now?
Well, so originally I was crushing him, but today he was actually really upset because it was down to
Because I just brutally
no,
crushed
no,
him.
no, no, because he was on the verge of winning. It was basically so each objective card that you're playing for the round
Wait a
has
minute.
a certain.
I think I've been in the same place as Keegan. So so let me guess. He's like, I'm done for, and then you're like, no, you're still in this,
No,
and then you
no,
crushed it,
no, no, no,
and then
no,
you say to him, oh, it was really close. Is that what? If so, I need to give
no.
Keegan a
So
hug.
each objective card has a certain number of victory points and possible you can gain X number of influence tokens if you win the round, and they're usually worth 1, 2, or 3 victory points and 0, 1, or 2 influence tokens. So we were tied at 6 victory points each, and when you play, a game goes up to 7, so you have to win 7 points worth of objective cards. So we were both at 6. So basically, whoever won the final round that we played was going to win, and Keegan drew, and it was like 3 cards, and you're trying to get to, I think it was 9 or 7. I think it was 7, and he drew, and he went over, but none of the cards he had could get him back under, so so he couldn't really do anything. So he lost, but only because he got a little excited and he drew his last card when he probably shouldn't have. So it wasn't that I really beat him; it's he beat himself.
Okay.
So he was pretty upset because he did really well that game. So he was very close to winning.
There you go.
Um,
Very cool. Where can
So,
I
yes.
find this? Where can I find this game, and what is his approximate retail price?
so you can buy it at stores like Maple Mart or For One Convenience, and they'll generally charge you, I think it's $14. But we got ours from Chapters only because we had a gift card, like a gift coupon that Chapters had given us because we bought some books. And they said, oh, there's a $10 card that you can use within the next 5 days. So we said, hey, that will make this game, relatively inexpensive. So let's pick it up and try it out. So
Oh, cool.
I think it was $17 at Chapters, but as I said, we'd like a $10 coupon. So
I'm just gonna go to Tony. Tony, do you play any board games? Are you like awake now, or are you asleep?
I've put him to sleep with my long-winded explanation.
Tony?
Hey, he's still on Skype.
Yeah, here.
Oh,
I'm very here. Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, I'm listening very carefully to what you're all saying, and I just haven't really had a whole lot to contribute. I'm sorry.
No. I was just asking if you've played any board games.
No, I haven't. Sadly, no.
Out of all the board games described, are there any you would like to play?
I like the idea of the zombie thing without the betrayer. A little bit of teamwork never hurt.
yeah, that actually is an option. I think the way Mike plays is that they are like they're working up to a betrayer, so they took all the betrayer cards out, and then so everyone still has their own objectives, but none of them are betrayer objectives. So everyone works together.
Cool. I'm all about teamwork. Hence the Minecraft.
Which which honestly I think is the way. The next time we play it, we should play it.
Before we segue to the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lane.
I was just gonna say, like, I am a very big fan of anything with zombies, so any of that stuff really gets me excited.
You like Chad from Scream Queens?
Yep.
Okay, before we move to our final thing, I guess we can move to our final thing. So,
I was just gonna say, also add that just before he went on break, I was able to play another couple games of the Star Wars living card game with my coworker. So I was happy to get a couple games of that in again, finally, because I really enjoy that game.
I know. One of my gaming resolutions is to try to master that game enough so that you can have a worthy opponent, Shane.
You are a worthy opponent, Scott.
We'll see about that. So let's move to the final ship, which was basically what people are looking forward to, the ghost ship, if you will. So I guess just
the ship from the future.
Ship from the future. First thing, just real quick, if you have a gaming resolution that you would like to have, video game or board game, or actually let's do it this way. But other than play more, pick one game, video game, and one board/card game that you would like to say when we have the 2016 pre-Christmas show, you'll have played.
And beaten?
Or just played. You don't have to beat it. Substantially played it. So we'll start with Shane.
Well, so my pick is I want to have played Final Fantasy 13 and finished Final Fantasy 13, played and finished 13-2 so I can have tried out Lightning Returns.
All right, that's a video game.
On PC. Yeah, for video game. And on the Vita, I'm looking forward to World of Final Fantasy, which should be coming out next year.
And what is that?
Wait,
what?
World of Final Fantasy?
World of Final Fantasy. Look it up.
That comes on the Vita? I thought that was a 3DS only.
No. You're thinking of something else.
Final Fantasy Explorers.
Yeah, you're thinking of Explorers. Sorry. World of Final Fantasy is PS4 and Vita.
These Final Fantasies are just falling everywhere. Fallen fantasies.
Yeah, it's the one that has like the.
Oh, is that the chibi?
Yeah, the chibi one where they can go from large size to small, and they
for some
hook up
reason
with monsters.
I thought that world of Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy Explorers was the same thing, and I feel really bad because I'm the Final Fantasy guy here.
So what is the
It's all right,
difference?
don't panic.
That's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I don't know where.
Okay.
Uh,
This is where Matt breaks down.
And then the other game that I want to play is Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel, which is a new game that comes out tomorrow for the Vita.
what is? Okay, first off, step back.
Okay.
Worlds of Final Fantasy, is it just a Japanese RPG with Final Fantasy stuff going on in it, or is it something else?
No, it's a new JRPG, and it's about these two siblings who travel to this world, and they can make themselves small at times or big, and then they team up with monsters, and they can make towers with the monsters, and that's how they fight. It looks
Yeah, and
interesting.
there's like a crazy cameos through.
So it's a
like,
tower
all the
defense
different Final
game?
Fantasies.
No. When they're in a battle, they can join up with some of the monsters that they've
Oh, like
hunted, collected, whatever, and then they make a tower, and that's how they attack. And like what
So it's like
powers they have will
Voltron
based on
Pokemon?
who's in their tower. Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Voltron Pokemon. Yep.
That's an awesome
That's
description.
exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah, and depending on
then-
what powers they have will depend on who's in their tower, sort of thing, right?
And then what's this gray steel thing?
So Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel is
Cold
another
Steel,
JRPG from another
From Japan?
producer from Japan, and it's based in the same world as Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky, but it's set in a different part of the world. And it's just this game is designed for the Vita, so I'm excited to try it out.
Okay. And then on the analog side?
For board games, I really want to try Ashes: Rise of the Phoenix Born.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally. All right, Tony?
Oh man, digitally, I'm really looking forward to Star Fox.
Yeah.
Just Star Fox. I know I'm
There's
gonna
a-
beat it. Yeah, there's a new one coming out for
There's a
Wii
new
U.
one coming out? Cool.
There's another Zelda coming down the pipes. There's always another Zelda coming down the pipes, but
Is that the name of it?
But are you going to have to
Coming-
buy an NX to play the new Zelda?
Zombie comes down. Zelda comes down the pipes. That's like it's a crossover with Mario.
Mario? Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Yeah, there.
Send that to
Yeah, that's
Nintendo.
gonna save Nintendo right there.
Yeah.
Let's do a Mario Zelda crossover. We were done that.
I think it's called Mario Maker
Yeah. Or Smash Brothers,
or Smash Brothers. Yeah.
Mario
yeah.
Kart. And as far as low tech, I'm really looking forward to Matt's Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We've been
Yes.
daydreaming about this for like 6 months, and it's got to happen. So,
What are you in it?
haven't decided yet.
Are you a druid?
I
No, Lenny's
I'm
in
a-
one of my many
Oh, that's
personas
awesome.
that I've daydreamed in this game and imagined what it would be like, I have played a druid. But in reality, we have not done anything. We have not put pencil to paper yet.
I'm a druid who has.
But
red
we
snuff.
should fix that soon.
Yeah, but that's my big game thing for 2016 is Dungeons and Dragons.
All right.
Nice. I like it.
Lenny? Lenny?
As far as a game I'd like to at least touch before next year, before
No,
the-
this is your New Year's resolution.
my New Year's resolution.
Yeah, for like 2016.
Well, yeah, no, it's kind of falls into that category, but I'd like to play and possibly beat The Witcher 3.
Oh.
Good choice.
Because
Tall
I've
order.
really only played about 20 minutes of it. And I have it, and it's sitting on my shelf. But I tend to try to stay away from those because they're like 3 million hours long. As far as board games, I wouldn't mind getting my hands on more of Dead of Winter, or there's also a board game called Dark, Darker, Darkest that I would like to give a try. Staying in my zombie theme, of course.
Cool.
All right. Do you
What
want to
is
go?
Dark Darker Darkest?
Yeah. What is
Uh,
Darker?
well, I need to do more research, but the one thing that caught my attention,
It,
it
it's hard. It's hard to see.
it is
And like the more you try,
The
it just
darker
gets
it
darker.
gets.
the tagline on it is the Resident Evil of board games. Even though I'm pretty
Oh.
sure there's a Resident Evil board game, but uh, it's like a tile building game, much like Betrayal or the Legend of Drizzt, that kind of thing. You put
Yep.
tiles down,
Yep.
but it's zombie themed, and so I'm in.
Sounds good.
All right. Matt.
Digitally for 2016, I'm really excited for PlayStation VR. It's definitely coming out hopefully in the spring, but from pretty much like all the podcasts I listen to, everyone that's tried it says it's like a complete game changer, like of what it stands for, of like, you know, what game stands for. It's like it is really the next step kind of thing. And so I'm kind of, you know, starting to be susceptible to that kind of hype, and I really really want to try out, like, there's Eve Valkyrie where you play as a space pilot, but it's in VR, so like it's kind of like the perfect setting for it. You're in a cockpit of a ship and you're flying the ship around and stuff.
Nice.
So I really want to try that one out. I'm excited for Uncharted 4 because it's going to be the last Uncharted game.
Until they need money.
Well, until the last one Naughty Dog is making, and then Sony will probably make ones that are terrible. But that's pretty much digitally, and then analogly is pretty much the D&D campaign. I'm excited to get that going. And then I also want to play Game of Thrones second edition.
The card game.
Because the card game, yeah. Because I really enjoyed the first edition, but apparently second edition is a lot more streamlined. So I'm excited even more for that, because streamlining card games for me is good. Because too complicated is too complicated for me. And that's it for me. What about you, Scott?
Video game side, I would probably make my one simple goal to get through Demon Souls 2, or at least play enough of it to enjoy it.
I'm sorry, did you say simple goal?
Single goal.
And did you mean Dark Souls 2?
Wait, Demon Souls is the first one, so it's Dark Souls, right?
Yeah, there's Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, and then Dark Souls
And the one
3.
we played was Dark Souls 2.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
with the beach and the sunshine, and everyone kind of sad.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That sounds about
But
right.
they're at the beach. I don't know why they're sad. But anyway,
Well, probably because they're all like death. And
they're
dying
undead.
and-
But there's lots of places undead, and that's undead at the beach, which you would think would be better, but I guess not. Yeah, I mean, I always say that I'm going to try to work on. I have a pile of games that you guys have given me over the years, but I think that's one I wouldn't mind trying to get through, just because it seemed kind of interesting, and it seemed like a game you can just sort of plug away with here and there, and it is a very unique experience in comparison to a lot of games. So,
Yep.
but we'll see on
Definitely
the
is.
on the board game, digital or physical side. Mostly, I'd like to do a bit more repeated play, I think. A cat's speaking to me. Is that a real cat, or is that a
Yeah,
sound?
it's my real cat. Yeah,
It's a real
decided
cat.
he wants attention.
Does it approve of my goals? Is that?
He can't really hear them, which is
Oh,
probably
okay.
why he's demanding you speak up.
But he has super hearing. Yeah, no, just maybe Netrunner. Probably the three I would focus on: Netrunner, Conquest, and Ashes. Like, just try to play it enough to get my head wrapped around them a bit more.
Conquest is Warhammer, right?
Yes. 40K Conquest.
Yeah.
But yeah, just mostly repeated play, like focus on the games I have and just kind of get a bit better at getting the nuances of it and getting people maybe getting, more. Because, like, for instance, I have a game group at work, and we played a lot of my Euro games, and it's just interesting. Like, once you've played, like, a lot of these games are new and fancy, but once you've actually played a game like 8 times, you kind of start realizing which ones are actually good games and which ones are just kind of have a like a an initial, like, it's kind of like when you guys, for to use a video game example, like when you play a video game, you're all excited about it, about all the trailers and stuff like that, and then you get into you play it for the first couple hours, and you're like, this game's amazing, I'm so excited about this, and then all of a sudden the nuts and bolts of the game come to you start to understand how the game actually works, and you can start projecting ahead of what you need to do to get good at it or to get through the game. It's the similar experience with board games. Like once you've played a board game like a couple times, you start figuring out how the machinery works, and then you can start having strategies and develop that sort of thing. Oh, I forgot to put Star Wars on that list. Sorry, Shane. I should put Star Wars on that list for you. But yeah, that's
Star
sort of
Wars?
the card game.
No.
It's
Star
a game
Wars.
where you think you're really close, you think you're really close, and then you lose to Shane. That's pretty much
Star
how it
Wars.
goes.
Like, what if you're not even playing Shane? Does it still you still lose?
You still
to him?
lose to him. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Apparently, there's wars in the stars.
Hmm.
It happens.
All right. Well, I think we've kind of covered our 3 ships. And
Yeah, we're only 1 minute over.
well, there you go. So on that happy note, we will say happy holidays, everyone, and we'll see you in 2016.